What's up? Big Brand MMA 142, UFC Vegas 96, Cannonier by Hilo. Let's make some money on this card, shall we?
Shouts out Big Steve.
What up, what up? Welcome back. Welcome back to another show. UFC Vegas 96. We're going to try and make some money, right? We're going to gamble, and we're going to do it. Let's go through the comments. Moyes audio. No tease, Moyes. Not this week. Kiwi Brew, Chair, I found you. Thanks for listening, Matt. I saw you subscribe. I know you're a full-time listener to Lou's show, so I appreciate you joining. Hopefully you get some value out of the show. Alrighty, so no tease this week. I wasn't even going to do this. I wasn't even going to do my contender series. I obviously had another losing week for the UFC, even though I went back to basics. And yeah, that almost burnt me out completely. Pissed me off. So I was like, I'm not doing these podcasts anymore. I'm not doing anything. Might even retire from the whole betting thing. That's how annoying it was. But yeah, still here. Still here drinking a glass of red. We're going to do a recap, probably be a bit of a longer one. If you're listening live, that's unfortunate. If not, you can probably just skip right through it. So let's get into it, right? Kyrax, Big Steve, thanks for listening, my friend. All right, let's start with the beautiful pay-per-view. So starts off with Jesus Aguilar versus Stuart Nicoli. So I've been losing sleep about playing Aguilar the whole time, I love this guy. He's got his flaws, but I'm like, yeah, he's just more physical. Nicole's unproven, and I'm literally losing sleep the night before. I'm like, do I just put $500 on him? Just as and then if he wins, I won't be pissed off. But I'm like, this is probably not the kind of dog that I want to chase with, because his takedown defense is so awful. And straight away gets taken down, gets backpacked, but yeah, then he gets out of it because he's too physical and gets his beautiful guillotine choke over a black belt, really high level black belt. So yeah, I didn't get too upset about that. I was just like, okay, my reads are correct. Let's move on. Kenan Song, I wanted to put a whole unit on this. Me and Dog talked about it. I convinced him. He put to win a unit. I just overthink it, and he went to minus 200. I was like, oh, can I lay Kenan Song minus 200? He obviously covered, but we saw why I couldn't do it. It gets dropped by Ricky Glenn ASAP. Looks gassed. Yeah, I mean, he covered, but yeah, I ended up parlaying him. I parlayed him with the Jack Jenkins, Herbert Burns on the 2.5, and Carlos Prates, right? I put $1,000 to win 1,000. That was just like, if he lets me down, then, I've only risked half a unit. I didn't have to go big. So that one, then this is where things went wrong. So Tom Nolan versus Alex Reyes, if you listen to the early teas, I said, this is a clear pass, right? Everything's unplayable. Nolan round one's unplayable. Reyes is durable. He almost made it to round two against Campbell. And Tom Nolan, I don't think he's that much of a finisher. He's more of a nutritional guy. And then and then someone in Discord mentioned it to me, how the under 1.5's improved. And straight away I go into it, I look into it. It's not even that great. It's minus 200. And straight away I play it. Right, I parlay it with Walker, because Walker is someone I wanted to play as well. And yeah, it ends up going over. And then I'm just thinking, well, why did I play that? Right? I said I was going to be disciplined. I only went in with one bet. Which was that parlay. Actually, two bets, that parlay and the Josh Culibao money line, which we'll talk about my boy Josh Culibao soon enough, right? It's all going to be sunshine and rainbows when we talk about him. And then I forced that bet, $750, it loses, and I'm just like, why did I do that? Right now I'm down with not many plays, and I'm just like kicking myself. So one of the reasons I'm down is, obviously, I started betting like an idiot at the start, and when it was profitable, like obviously the Edwards versus Bilal, there was good plays on Bilal and Robocop Rodriguez. And then when I started to turn it around and actually be more disciplined, then I started getting some bad variance. But here, I'm making good money line. I have good reads, but I'm making impulsive bets. So obviously my prefrontal cortex, the front part of your brain, I'm making impulsive decisions, which there's a lot of reasons, lack of sleep, bad diet. There's a lot of reasons. I've been grinding too much, a little bit of stress, this and that. So yeah, bad decisions. When I'm on, no one can convince me, no one can make me force anything. But yeah, so straight away I'm like, Donated $750 there, despite my better judgment. Then Jack Jenkins, Herbert Burns, had that parlay under 2.5. Man, I almost lost. Jack Jenkins on my list. The guy can't finish anything. I don't know what it was with his Aussies. Him and Josh Culibao. Man, their coaches are screaming at him, and they're just they drop their opponents and they're just standing over and wasting time. Horrible. Anyway, it hits. Parlay moves on. Casey O'Neill versus Luana Santos. Another fight. I favored Luana. I thought she was going to have a good round one. Yeah, she kind of slows down. But yeah, I thought she had the hardware advantage. I thought she hits harder. She has a better chin. She has better takedowns, better jiu-jitsu. I thought Casey just kind of Homer Simpsons, and props to her, she improved. So when it went to pick'em, I ended up playing $1,000 on Luana Santos. That was an awful bet. That was I kind of wanted to be contrarian there. I know Pepe had 3 units on Casey, and everyone was on Casey O'Neill, and I just wanted to play Luana because I thought she should be the favorite, maybe 60%. And I kind of overlooked the fact that I said it's a pass, shit show fight, and then she has bad cardio and she's flying over to Australia. And I said to myself last minute, I'll just live bet it. Hopefully Luana wins round 1. I'll live bet it. O'Neill won round 1. Santos just gassed within 2-3 minutes, and I had to sit there watch a horrible fight with Santos, no way of coming back. So now I'm down 1,750. I've got Culibao. This is the only bet I made pre. And yeah, what is there to say about this fight? So Culibao lights him up, almost knocks him out with a calf kick. Gets his back taken, falls over into the rear naked choke, which I knew what I was getting myself into. I waited for the fight to get to almost pick him. He survives. I did think Ramos has bad rear naked choke offense. Round 2, beats the crap out of him, and he's just dancing over him, man. He's dancing over him. His coaches are screaming. This is one of the only times I've lost my cool. I'm like screaming at the laptop. I'm like, what are you doing, dude? Get up. But in my head, I'm like, there's no way he wins round 3. Like, he's extremely compromised. Ramos is a flake. Halfway through round 3, I'm like, I see where this is going. Ramos is showing heart. He switched stances. He's actually throwing. Culibao, it looks shook after his coaches yelled at him. And I'm like, oh no, he's throwing this fight away. There's 2.5 minutes to go, right? So, and I'm just like, I'm like, how many events have I lost in a row, right? And I'm just like, all right, MMA Gods. If this bet here loses after what I've just watched Culibao throw away, then that's a sign. That's a sign that I should retire from betting full time, right? And I have a very good relationship with the MMA Gods, right? All the bad variants, I just laugh it off. I don't care usually. I know whatever goes around comes around, so I'm pretty good. And he goes to split decision, and I'm just like, all right, this is it. And Ricardo Ramos gets it. Even though damage versus control, had the shit kicked out of him round 1, had the shit kicked out of him round 2, and round 3, whatever, you can give it to Ramos, but in Australia as well. And I was just like, that's a sign. That's a sign. So now I'm broken. I'm down like 2,750 on, I thought that was a good bet. I thought Culibao looked 60 to 70%. He was the only guy that was close to getting a knockout. He's durable. He's hard to submit. And somehow he lost the decision to Ramos, who had a compromised leg 3 minutes in. Then we get to Walter Walker, the money line that I actually liked. At this point, I'm shook. I played Santos to pick him, Culibao to pick him. I lost both of them. Now I've got to play an extremely volatile fight with Walker. But I know the Walker should be like 60, 70% because if he doesn't get knocked out in round 1, he wins this pretty high clip. Right? I went so deep to see how his chin is, and his chin is much better than his older brothers. And I'm just like, I can't do it. I'm almost down $3,000. I can't do it. Easy win for Walker. Sums up my night. We move on. I'm just like, the tilt is, I'm already thinking like, do I retire or not? We move on. Carlos Prates, it wins easy. I win my parlay there, so I win $1,000. First win of the day. Josiane Rosenstruck, some of the boys played start round 2. That was a good play. I passed. Dan Hooker, I like Dan Hooker from the start. I waited for the best line. Ended up being like $4.20. I passed there too, right, because I'm shook. Steve Erceg, everyone was forcing Steve Erceg. I thought this was going to be a competitive fight. I did mention on the early tees, he's too hittable. And that's probably one of the best things I did. I just passed on Erceg a juice. And Dricus du Plessis, I wanted to play him. Again, I was shook. It was a hard fight to get a read. I'm on a bad streak. Then I ended up I tried to live bet DWCS after round 3, actually. I thought he was up 2-1. And it was just paying like $4 something. And as I call up, he gets the back and chokes out Adesanya. So that was fine. I didn't really care about that. I was a bit too slow. It was a weird fight to get a read on. Everyone in the chat was saying that Izzy was up, so it was kind of throwing me off. But yeah, lost 1,900. Not the worst. Probably wouldn't care, but it just extends my streak. Then we'll go to Contender Series, and again, Contender Series. I tape this so much. I'm not forcing anything here. I like Cody Haddon. I'll wait for a better line. Didn't play it. Dominates. I like the over 1.5. The Torres Finney Cam Roston. I knew exactly how the fight would play out. I saw Gianni on it, so threw me off. And then I ended up playing Kutavius Romius under 1.5. Hurts him to the liver, and just how often do we see someone drop from a liver shot and doesn't get knocked out? Yeah. So as I said, now I'm making better bets, but the variance is bad. So it's combining, right? So I lost, and then I played I put $200 on Pat Pitlick. So I lost like 1,400 again on a card that I had nothing. I said I wasn't going to force anything, and I taped way too much. So yeah, if we go to my recap, so I put this up a few weeks ago, and I said from here on out, it's only up, and I ended up winning that boxing bet, Ortiz versus Ukrainian CUNT. After that, I lost Contender Series, which I had 2 money lines, and lost the under 1.5. I actually profited in PFL peanuts. And then I lost the pay-per-view and lost that. So I think I'm definitely under $20,000 for the whole year, which is it's quite sad. It's quite depressing. My bankroll is quite short. I'm feeling the stress, and a lot of the boys, some of the boys that I respect that do this full time. I respect a lot of sharps, but there's a different kind of respect when you do this full time and you pay your bills. You got to have extra nerves of steel. You got to make better decisions. And some of them said you should lower your units. And I was like, I can't do it. I can't go back. My ego wouldn't let me, which is an issue because I think I'm good because I don't think I have the ego of some of the other cappers. Like I can take advice. I know that my reads can be wrong. That's why I pass a lot of the time until I have a really, really strong read. But here, my ego won't let me lower my units. And after a few days of thinking, I just thought, I think it's for the best. So I'm gonna try drop my units down to $500. It's a big jump from 2,000, but even if I drop to, let's say, 1,000, my bankroll is still not. It's not big enough. So I've had a lot of expenses. I've got a mortgage and whatnot. So and the wedding. I'm getting married. So I'm shelling out a ton of cashola. So yeah, $500 units. That's fine. It's not the end of the world. I used to average 2 units per week profit. And yeah, that's $1,000 per week, tax free in Australia. That's good enough. I'll probably make more than that. I'll probably be more aggressive with smaller units. Maybe this is a blessing in disguise. Who knows? Maybe this is what I needed to do a long time ago because I've been breaking even for the last couple of months. I did this full time last year, and I thought I had a great year. 54,000 profit. I went down slightly in units, but I went up quite a lot in money, so that's all I care about. So I thought I have it all figured out, but yeah, who would have thought? 6 years in, I've still encountered a roadblock that I've never encountered before with all my experience, and now, I've gone back in my unit sizing for the first time, and I find myself rebuilding my bankroll. So we'll see how this goes. I'm excited after being quite down for a few days. Now I'm excited about the new challenge. So it'll be a good, interesting test, something to tell the kids, and the comeback's going to be even more exciting. This is definitely the worst losing streak I've ever had, even when I was a noob with $100 units 6 years ago. So yeah, it's quite wild. So I'm excited about the bounce back. We'll see. Sucks that you have to listen to all that, 14 minutes, but it's all right. We'll get into the breakdowns. Pete, are there sharp people in other sports in your Discord? There are. I've got a few footy people. There's a few Canadians that are really good at NRL. There's a bunch of Canadians that like hockey, tennis. There's Sando. Sando is an older Australian bloke that does really well in NFL and Australian footy, AFL. He kills it. He posts pics every single day for both of them. So hockey does quite well. Australian sports, AFL, NRL, he does quite well. Boxing, I think we all do well in boxing. Sando's also really good in boxing, and so am I. I'm doing better than MMA. So yeah, that's about it. Soccer, AFL, NRL, and hockey and boxing. That's where we're at. But I'm not against it. People are good to talk about other sports. Yeah, I don't actively look for them. It's an MMA place, but yeah, people bet on everything in there. Carax, your positive outlook is refreshing in this space. I don't know. I thought this was a pretty depressing start, honestly. But yeah, we're back. I like to talk about fights, so we'll keep this going. Take it week by week. I don't know if I'm going to be on $500 per week forever, but I'm just going to build my bankroll. I think the stress levels is what's really affecting my gambling, and that's not good. You can't be stressed while gambling. You have to have fun. You have to be free. Obviously, you have to be disciplined, but yeah. So we'll see. We'll see how we go. First week. Kiwi Brew, do you charge for the Discord? I do charge. I charge $50 a month. I charge 15, then 30 for the loyal fans that were with me from the start. I keep it on the same price. Now it's 50, but it's 50 Australian, which is like 30 American. It's not even for my picks. It's just a place where, because when I was starting 6 years ago, I didn't know anyone. I didn't know Gugabe. I didn't know Lucrative. I didn't know any Aussies that do this. I just had to learn myself, and I had to go on Sherdog, and I didn't have Discord, so it was all myself through mistakes. And I always wish I had someone to talk to, like a network. So that's what this Discord is. And I've been in a bunch of Discords, and they're all toxic. I just couldn't be in there. I had to leave. And this Discord it's a bunch of good people. When I'm on my losing streak, everyone's supportive. Nobody cares. A lot of people are serious gamblers in there, and they post their favorite bets in there as well. And it's just a chat. Like, if I ever leave that place runs itself. People talk. I don't really moderate. I don't really boot anyone. So it's just a place to talk and spend. If you're someone like me that spends 24 hours in there, it's a good place. Like, I turn it on every morning, every night, and I just see what people are talking about, what fights people are talking about. I have a little chat, a little joke, and yeah. Obviously, tailing my picks wouldn't go well right now. You would still be up for the year. But yeah, it's just others. There's so many sharps. The sharps from around the Europe. It's just people that you won't find on Twitter and you won't find on YouTube because they don't do that kind of stuff. So it's, I didn't expect it to become what it's become, but yeah, it's probably the proudest thing about what I've done recently since I started betting full time, that Discord. So yeah, make of that what you will. I don't even promote that Discord either. I just keep it in my about me, and then I don't really sell it. I think people, if they really want to find the people that are looking for a place like that, I think they'll come across it naturally. So yeah. All right, let's get into it, shall we? First fight of the night: Cody Wang versus Victoria Leonardo. So I'm going to try to keep this quick from the betting perspective because I'm going to talk a bit about the regionals, and yeah, I'm going to try to be like my mentor, Just Win Baby, and smash through it. 30 seconds per fight. So yeah, from a betting perspective, obviously I think Victoria Leonardo has a really slim chance to win here. Yeah, she gets knocked out a lot. Cody Wang, really high level striker. It's basically, do you want to play Wang KO, which is barely plus money on Bet365? Over-unders. Overs have been steamed, and I get it. But if you actually tape the fights, Victoria Leonardo gets buzzed a lot, under 1.5, And even in the fights that she's gone over, she was dropped in round 1 or early round 2, and then she survives, and then she gets knocked out. So even Erin Blanchfield knocked her out with a head kick in under 1.5. And before that, she dropped her multiple times. Chelsea Hackett. And I know this because I went deep into her career when trying to play Natalia Silva by KO. And I got greedy and I played Silva round 2, round 3 KO. And I think I played Silva and start round 2. So yeah, and she just ended up running through her. I think Silva's a bit more explosive than Wang, but yeah. I think the under 1.5 has gone too much. It's got a little bit of value. I might play some Wang 1 and 2. But yeah, I taped it in depth. I think she will definitely be hurting Leonardo. Leonardo took a big layoff as well. She could just be coming in there for a paycheck. Last fight on her contract. So yeah, it's the unders and knockouts. All right. Pete. Been a dead year for MMA. Tough to remain interested as a fan. Yeah, honestly, that's the biggest thing, man. When I was a lot worse at gambling, it was so fun to watch MMA and the the Corona situation and the Vegas fights, they were so good. They were so exciting. You know, I keep going back to that Dan Hooker versus Dustin Poirier main event. What a fight that was. One of the best fights ever at the Apex. And now we just get, the fights are so brutal. We're getting Tybura Spivak. Look at these fights. Like, this is like the awful fights, man. Just awful. Like Nunes, Cavalcanti, Leonardo, Wang, like Medina versus Zach Reese. It's just horrible. It's hard to watch. But I'm a hardcore, so I'll watch it. Whole card breakdown with the wrap it up button on. Correct, Carax? Correct. All right. Ramaska versus Zygimantas Ramaska versus Nation Fletcher. Yeah, I'm really keen on the dog here. It's a hard click because if you watch his grappling footage, he does a lot of errors. He does weird errors where he just gets taken down and he's rolling and he does rabies white belt stuff. Ends up on bottom. He tries to get out of the back and then again ends up on bottom. He's extremely aggressive. It's easy to get in on his hips. And the few times he ended up getting up was when the refs stood him up in this promotion. I don't know if that's a Lithuanian promotion. I assume so. Blade Fights won. But yeah, it's a bit funky. He was in half guard once and they stood him up. He was in mount another time and they stood him up. So I would have loved to see some get-ups from this guy. And Fletcher is going to be very aggressive and he's going to push the pace. And he's a grinder. He's good at getting to the back. But he's fought his whole career at bantamweight. And you know, he can lose position. He can be bad at controlling people unless he gets the back. So I think Ziggy used to fight at welterweight. His last loss against Vitoldis Jegolo was at welterweight. He's now fighting at featherweight. And his last fight before Ultimate Fighter was a lightweight as well. So this guy's big and he's explosive. So I think he's going to have a physicality edge over Fletcher. Fletcher fought and lost to, what's his name? Kaan, who we'll talk about later on, and he just got mauled by him. And I think that was because, you know, Ofield's a physical featherweight and Fletcher was coming up from bantamweight. If someone can let me know why Fletcher doesn't fight at bantamweight anymore, maybe this is just, you know, Ultimate Fighter and then the first fight in the octagon and then he's going to go back to bantamweight. But he did have medical issue in his last fight, so maybe he can't make that weight anymore. But yeah, I'm leaning Zygimantas. I think he's live to KO him. You know, if he doesn't get rear naked choke, then if he can kind of just work his way up multiple times, it could look value. Yeah, it's quite binary with how he's looked off his back. But yeah, dog a pass for me. You'll see where the line goes. Maybe it improves even more. Alrighty. José, Nunes, Jacqueline, Cavalcanti. One of my boys mentioned this early in the week. When Cavalcanti was better than minus 200, I taped one of each, Zarafan, and I just reminded myself with Nunes and her Zarafan fight as well. And I get it, you know, Cavalcanti is more technical, but I do remember, you know, I played her against Martina Jindrova in PFL, and she got rocked a couple of times, ended up going to a split. That was obviously a lightweight. You know, she's in much better shape at this weight class. But yeah, she got rocked, and she's kind of like a slim margin fight, you know, against Zarafan. She won competitively, but clear. And Nunes is going to have more power. So I passed the dollar at, you know, minus 170. I'm definitely passing at minus 200. So I haven't revisited since I taped last week. It's just one of those fights. I'm not going to rush to it. Definitely not playing Cavalcanti at minus 200. But who knows? Maybe I am. We'll see if I circle back to it and do more tape. But I've been on Nunes before. You know, I played her against Bear Maleki as a decent sized dog, and she killed her. And I played against Ramona Pascal. You know, everyone's shitting on my girl Nunes. She's not that bad. All right, let's move on. Let me look at the totals, actually. So the totals for Wang, I think it's plus 150. No, it's improved. Someone's playing the over. The under. Her KO is plus money. That could be the side. The Ziggy fight, the under 1.5, yeah, minus money. I thought it'd be better. Cavalcanti, what do we got here for the overs? Yeah, Nunes is quite durable. Juiced overs. Yeah, it's crap. Alrighty. What do we got next? Viacheslav Borshchev versus James Llontop. Yeah, can't play this dog or pass, but I can't play Llontop. You know, he's death by 1,000 cuts. He's a Homer Simpson. He's going to be a huge striking disadvantage and fluidity here. He will go for takedowns, so I get people, you know, playing him. Right? Anyone can take Borshchev down. Also, Borshchev has that issue with his chin, and he will crack. But yeah, I just think, watching Llontop's fights, he's really struggling to hold any of these guys down. He really struggled to get Malik out of their own contender series. He's a bad fighter. I played him there. Has a horrible gas tank. Borshchev is going to keep coming on. Borshchev actually has great heart and great cardio. So even if Llontop takes him down a bunch of times, Viacheslav is going to get up and then put it on him again. So it's one of those fights that don't really want to play to either side. And I'll just see how it plays out live. I was kind of leaning the over. I think both guys are tough. I mean, Llontop doesn't have the ground to finish. Someone like Slava is got a ton of heart. We've seen him take, a lot of damage. Slava's UFC career is him basically just eating shit in every single fight. So he's had it rough. But yeah, what's the over here? The over, oh wow, it's quite juiced. The 2.5 is Pick'em, which it just really depends how durable you think Llontop is. I think Slava can make it, but Llontop, he's going to have to eat some body shots. He's quite hittable. He's young as well. He got dropped with a check hook in one of his early fights. He had some bombs from Malik, who I think Malik might be the hardest hitting fighter he's fought. He's fought a lot of bums. 6 fights in, I just couldn't take the Peruvian regional scene anymore. I just had to stop watching. So can't get a read. Will he get knocked out? But Slava's knocked out some good dudes. So yeah, maybe the over 2.5 and look to live bet, but I'm not interested in this fight. Speaking of not interested in fights, Jose Medina, Zach Reese. I see some people playing Medina. No, thank you. I think this is a huge levels fight. I don't understand the hate on Zach Reese. I thought he was decent when I taped him for Contender Series. I played him against Aronov. I played him against... I didn't play him against Julian Marquez, but I said on my podcast, never Julian Marquez at minus money. All right, he just got ran through. Jose Medina, yeah, he's dropping down to his natural weight class. He's gone to a better gym. There's got to be some improvement, but he's 33 years of age, right? People forget this. He's not some young prospect. His skill level is just dreadful. It's really dreadful, and he's been finished before. So the only thing I like here, I thought about the under 1.5, but it's too juiced. Obviously, you could still look value. But yeah, if anything, I'll be playing Zachary Reese round 1, which is barely plus money. But hey, he's a huge favorite. And if Medina survives because he's extremely tough, so be it. But yeah, he was getting cracked and hurt to the body by that Russian on Contender Series. People say, and that guy's an awful finisher. Zach's actually bigger and a lot more dangerous, even though this is a lower weight class. Zach's a freak. So yeah, Zach round 1 or nothing. See if I come around to it as the week goes on. With smaller units now, I'll probably definitely play it. $250, half a unit. I won't even feel that. Peanuts. Alrighty. Dennis Buzukja, Francis Marshall. So I taped this just recently. a lot of money on Marshall from the boys. And I get it. I'm not really a Buzukja fan, but after taping it, I feel like it's a dog or pass. It's really hard to get a read on Buzukja. I think it's because he's young and it's just the way he fights. It's always different. He didn't really have a game plan. And yeah, I really like how he came out against Conor Matthews. I completely passed on that fight. I wasn't interested whatsoever. Really nice, really composed. He could fight on the back foot. He could fight on the front foot. He countered Matthews a few times and then he countered him in round 3 and knocked him out. It was just a beautiful performance. They both fought Matthews and Marshall fought him on Contender Series. Marshall just outdogged him, out-hardwared him. He tried to take him down a few times, couldn't, and then he just started brawling with him and he had a few shots, but he had the better chin and then Matthews just started breaking. Obviously, he's never been out of round 1. I think Matthew came back and he's improved since and also had his debut, so it was much easier to beat him back then, I think, than when Buzukja fought him in his debut. But yeah, I mean, this kind of feels like a pick'emish fight. I think a lot of people playing Marshall because he's got the takedown and potential backpack upside. But Buzukja, he trains at Serra-Longo. He's got a decent jiu-jitsu game. I don't think he's ever been submitted. Yeah, Sean Woodson took him a couple times down. He got out of his back control. Conor Matthews took his back really easy in round 1, but he peeled the hooks off and got on top. So yeah, it's one of those ones. This is like a Contender Series fight. I don't really have a strong lean on either of these guys. I don't think either of them are amazing. They're probably going to improve constantly, but yeah, dog or pass for me. Buzukja's had the full camp. I think he's improving. He had his first UFC win, and I thought it looked great as well. And Marshall's hittable, so ain't no way I'm laying the juice. But yeah, let's move on. On to the main card. Edmen Shahbazyan versus Gerald Meerschaert. Let's see if we have any more comments. Crystal, round 2 Nunes. Crystal, everyone picks the physical woman, but not here. Baffles me. Nunes walks her down to the fence and mauls her. Look, it's possible. I thought she would do that to Casey. Not Casey. Who's that last bum she fought? That chick that's probably going to be cut. The fights with the Diaz bros. But yeah, she didn't. She dropped her once, but then she still lost, which is disappointing. Daydream. The last one's tough. Didn't like Ziggy. Was always stood up either in his blade promotion. I'm worried he won't be able to go. Yeah. Well, that's the issue, right? And I think that's why he's the underdog. But hey, if Dominic Wooding can do it, if he can knock out Fletcher, so can Ziggy. And I'm not a fan of Dominic Wooding at all. He's got a bit of Leon Edwards syndrome. He's too technical. He can be backed up. He can be broken. So with grappling especially. So that was a bantamweight. He swings hard and is dangerous, but gives up takedowns easily. That's right. Well, surely he makes an adjustment here, right? You would think so. We'll see where the line goes. So this fight, I didn't tape in too depth. I just taped, 3 Shahbazyan fights just to kind of remind myself. I didn't even remind myself with Gerald with the Brian Barberena fight, but that was an easy fight for him. It's a bit volatile. I think the thing to play here is, do you want to play the under 1.5 or do you have a 1.5? I think it's still a pick'em. I have to make my proper read to see which way I'm leaning. Obviously, Edmen is quite annoying with, sometimes he comes out extremely patient, scared to gas. Other times he comes out aggressive. But even when he comes out patient, he's striking and his 1-2 and his jab. You saw it really made Hermanson feel uncomfortable, for example. So it's an interesting fight. I do think he has really good submission defense. Jack Hermanson couldn't finish him. Nasruddin Imavov had him in really deep guillotine chokes. He survived a lot from Anthony Hernandez until he broke. So, yeah, it's an interesting fight. I have to go deeper. Obviously, I know Gerald quite well. I was betting on Gerald since day one, which was, years ago now, 3-4 years ago. But, yeah, Edmen should be the favorite. He's 26, 10 years upside. He's going to start better. Everyone starts better against Gerald, and then how the fight progresses, then, it's up in the air. But, yeah, I need to look into it some more. Michael Morales, Neil Magny, didn't look into it at all. I taped some of these fights multiple times at the expense of some of these other fights. So this is one that I completely didn't tape just because I know for a fact I'm not playing Neil Magny as a dog. I hate the guy. If you listen to the show, I hate the guy. I think he needs to be out of the rankings. I think he's lucky that they're giving him, Phil Rowe and Mike Malott and Daniel Rodriguez, or Wash Daniel Rodriguez. And he's in the ranking. Give him other ranked fighters and get him out of there. So hopefully Morales beats him, gets, and then give him like Brady, give him like Luke or someone and get him out of the ranking. It's just horrible to watch. It would be hard to do his game plan on Michael Morales. Morales he's physical, he has a wrestling game plan. He can strike, he's got power, he's got calf kicks. So, yeah, I didn't take this one. Let me just look at the odds for reference. $1.10, horrible line on Michael Morales. Yeah, maybe you play the unders. Maybe you think Morales is the one to finally knock him out. Playing $3, right? You look at the fights. Ian Gary really should have got him out of there if he had any sort of urgency. Burns got him out of there quick, fast. Daniel Rodriguez dropped him. Max Griffin dropped him. Mike Malott could have got him out of there. Yeah, we'll see. All right, let's move on. Kaan, Offley, Marlon Santos. So these Ultimate Fighter fights is the reason I didn't tape the whole card properly. I was just kind of trying to get a solid read. As you all know, I'm focusing on UFC now, so I'm spending a lot of time taping these UFC fights. Kaan Offley's from the Australian regional scene. He's one of the better guys. He beat Rod Costa, who has become the eternal champion once Jack Jenkins left the UFC. Jay Jr. is from Bellator. That wasn't that impressive, to be honest. And this Jarrett Wilbraham is quite a decent UFC guy as well. He was undefeated until the kid from Contender Series, Cody, beat him. And yeah, he lost to Cody in round 3, and then Kaan also submitted him in round 3. But they had a competitive fight. They were getting Ophil was getting dropped, and he loves a brawl. He's a king ape, right? So this is one of the reasons why I haven't done anything with this fight. It's a dog or pass for me. I think Ophil beating Nathan Fletcher at his own game on Ultimate Fighter, he just mauled him for 2 rounds, won 2-0. Was quite impressive to me. Marlon Santos, last time he fought an ape was Dan Agueda, and he got mauled. It was almost 3 years ago. He got mauled in round 1, he got mauled in round 2, and then he got finished in round 3. So that's not a bullish look. But since then, he took some time off. He beat Rafael Barboza as an underdog. He showed some improvements there. And then he fought 2 wrestlers on Ultimate Fighter. One was that Edwin guy, who's just a crotch sniffer. He crotch sniffed him for round 1, and then he got outstruck 2 and 3. No striking on the feet. And then he fought this guy that lost in Torres, that lost in the first round. And that guy's just also really old, one-dimensional, good wrestler. But if you can't set up your hands, Santos has a good sprawl. And yeah, I think Oakley is definitely the side. Not saying he'll win. Like, I do like Santos' game. I think he's improved. I think this would be one of those damage versus control. But if Kaan can fight like an ape, like usual, he can actually crack Santos. He can take him down. He can make it a mess. Right, be the ape that we all know he is. And this could be a competitive fight. And yeah, he will look value. Because right now, I think Santos has gone to minus 200, I think. Yeah, which is quite wild. Yeah, all the values on Kaan. Kaan is a black belt, a really strong, solid black belt. Trains with Lockie Giles at Absolute MMA, one of the better gyms for everything. Providing the best grapplers. Right, Craig Jones came from there. Xavier, Levi Jones, just a bunch of upsets on CGI recently. Lachlan Giles, bunch of upsets 2 ADCCs ago. It's, Jack Jenkins, really good fighters and really good grapplers from Absolute MMA. So that gym's on the up as well. So yeah, dog or pass. Ryan Loader, Robert Valentin. I taped this first because I know my friend played Valentin. He played it at a better line. That line is kind of gone now. I kind of rushed through all their fights. Ryan Loader is just a absolute blanket. He's a big green. He doesn't really have much striking. This Luan Davis dude that he beat, he dropped him. He got dropped by Troy Green, who he lost a split to. That's what I mean. He's a big green. He's just no striking to set up his grappling. But he did beat Shaban on Ultimate Fighter, which really impressive win. Shaban, I thought, was one of the better middleweights on the show. He's a Cage Warriors guy. He went to UAE Warriors and he became the champion there. Really well-rounded guy. So we kind of broke him. And Shaban was getting grappled by another Russian in the first round from LFA, Magomedov or whatever. And he submitted him. So, old mate Loader did it better. He beat him with the same game plan. So he's obviously a decent wrestler. I've seen Valentin lose a lot of positions in grappling when he fought on Aries, this Salamov guy. Knee barred him, but he was just kind of mauling him round 1 and 2. He lost to Jati Malan, which I haven't watched, but he's a wrestler, so I can assume how he lost. Iba Aislan, I watched this fight a bunch. Aislan now in the UFC, knocked him out in round 3. It was just a gassy slugfest. But I remember thinking, this is the only time Aislan's gone into round 3. Who is this guy? He's pretty good. And then it turns out it was Valentin. I didn't recognize him on the show because he had the mullet and the beard. But yeah, he's very aggressive. I think he's live to finish Loader. We've seen Loader dropped. But if he doesn't, I think he could end up competitive. I need to dig in deep. Loader's kind of tempted me as a dog, but then again, not really. I just feel like Valentin can run through him. He's got that dog in him, that grit. And he's younger. He's 29. He's in his prime. So he has fought some bums, recently. Actually, this Panini guy's pretty good. And he ran through him. 10 and 3. Yeah, this Panini guy's not bad. Good on him. Yeah, I think the under or maybe some Valentin finish could look good there. Let me look at the totals. Oh wow, Valentin inside the distance. Yeah, barely plus money. Plus 130, $2.30. It's better than his money line, I guess. Or if he played the under, he did get hurt in his last Ultimate Fighter fight. He got cracked. And then he ended up mauling that guy. And that guy's from Cage Warriors. He's not chinny. The first guy's chinny that he knocked out with the elbow. but that guy wasn't chinny, so he's just an ape, absolute ape. He's got a bit of aura about him, old mate Valentin. All right, let's move on. Angela Hill, Tabitha Ricci. I think I might get on a play here, and I kind of hate it because the whole world is on it. But it kind of reminds me of last week when the whole world was on Walter Walker. It felt mushed. The line wasn't moving, but it was still the clear play. And I feel like this is the case here. So I've played both these girls constantly. If they're fighting, I'm either fading them or playing them. Usually I try fade Tabitha Ricci. I faded her against Godinez. I actually played her live against Torres, and I thought she was lucky to win that. And I usually play Angela Hill, his last two fights. Denise Gomez. I regret passing against Luana Pinheiro. I wanted to wait for live. I thought, she's going to lose round one, pretty high clip while Pinheiro's fresh, get judo tossed or something. But she fought extremely well. She started grappling Pinheiro, got on top, gassed her out, won her best round, and it was all downhill for Pinheiro. Ultimately, as much as I hate Tabitha Ricci and her game of just like circling around, screaming, not doing any damage whatsoever, I think the way she grappled against Torres, or Pennington, should I say, in rounds 2 and 3 to steal that split, showed me that she's got, she's going to push the grappling. She obviously couldn't get in grappling against Lupita, still went to split. So I do think Angela is definitely the better striker. There's no ifs or buts about that. But she's a bit of a single shot merchant. She's got a good right hand, good knees. She does most of her damage in the clinch, right? Even against grapplers. She won round 2 against Mackenzie Dern and she got beat up. And it's because she had Mackenzie Dern against the cage. So she will grapple with Werner. She'll grapple with Mackenzie Dern. So she's probably going to grapple Ricci here. She'll be bigger, stronger. But, Ricci's going to want that. That's how she won 2 and 3 against Ramos. So I think Ricci, faster, got good volume, good takedowns. And rewatching that Denise Gomez fight, I don't think Gomez is good at all. And she should have never dropped round 1 to Gomez. Gomez took her down. She has all for wrestling. Put her in an armbar somehow. But yeah, I sweated a little bit there. And yeah, I think Tabitha Ricci, even though how unimpressive she is, I think she might have enough to just circle around, calf kick, shoot for takedowns for 3 rounds. She definitely has the better cardio. We've seen Angela Hill slow down. And when Angela Hill fought Angela Torres, she got rinsed. 30-27, I think it was. She looked like a level below because she was way slower. So yeah, it's Tabitha Ricci for me or pass. I think I might just play the decision. I'll put like a unit on it, my new little peasant unit, $500, and go from there. Unless it's not paying anymore. Yeah, 50 cents more. 50 cents more. I'll poke it. Why not? I mean, what are the chances Tabitha is the one to finish Hill after Werner and Gomes and Lemos and yeah, after they all couldn't. We'll see. Alrighty, main event time. Let me look at the comments before I move on. Mountain Bets, just tuning in. Are you going to go over your Road to UFC leans? I'll do what I've taped. So I'll do all the regionals of what I taped. Jeepers, Magny hate. I mean, I can't be the only one that hates Magny. Come on, look at that face and look at that fight style and tell me you don't hate Magny. Give Magny Carlos Prates. 100% agree, Carax. 100% agree. Piani is good. He had just been KO'd round before that fight, yeah. 6 Hound. This is the most pick and fight. Where is the value? I think you could give Ricci slight favorite. The value is younger fighter with grappling. Yeah, I guess. Ricci by nepotism, correct. Fight ends in split. I mean, you can't go wrong. Both these girls love going to a split. Alrighty, main event. Jared Cannonier versus Caio Borralho. I need to tape this one some more. I did tape quite a few fights. I faded Gerald against my boy Nasruddin Imavov, who I wasn't really a fan of, but I come around just at the right time. And he's fought him and he's fought Robert Whittaker, 2 guys that kind of have a similar style to Caio Borralho, karate stance, in and out. Caio's definitely going to be the faster guy. He's going to be slicker. He's going to be throwing the body kick, the check hook. But yeah, he's a little bit underwhelming in a lot of these fights. The Armin Petrosian fight, the Muradov fights. Mikhail Lazenchik, he lost round 1, clear. He kept getting hit with the overhand right. Mikhail hits hard, but there's a chance that Jared Cannonier hits harder. Abus Magomedov's extremely unimpressive, and he lost the round to Abus, right? And Paul Craig, whatever, KO, it was written in the stars. Nothing crazy about that. My only issue, Jared, he got wobbled by Vettori in round 1, who doesn't hit hard at all. Obviously, that was one of the reasons I played him. When he beat the crap out of Vettori for 3 rounds, Vettori also took him down easy later on in the fight. So, the reason I've been trying to fade this guy and not really getting away with it, like with Sean Strickland, for example, these reasons are now coming out. Like that chin is coming out, that the takedown defense is not as good, the cardio. He spent like 3 rounds trying to grapple Imavov against the cage. He did the same thing to Izzy. So I'm not really bullish on all those things. I'm not like rushing to play 40-year-old Jared Cannonier against, Kaya. Like I said, round 1 is going to be a lot faster than him. He's a smart fighter. He's not going to put himself in danger. He showed he had a good chin. His only one loss, I think it was a finish loss. I went back, watched it when I was taping him from Contender Series. He gassed. He gassed bad. So this is a 5-rounder. I'm just going to leave it for live bet. If you see his fight with Jeffrey held him against the cage for 3 rounds and took 1 round off him when he gassed in round 3. So I think Cannonier is live here. He stole 2 rounds from Imavov when Imavov was, meant to be the faster guy, the sharper guy on the feet. So, yeah, Jared is no joke. This is a good test for Borralho. I think he's going to have to fight really, really smart. And I have a feeling it's a slim margins fight, but I'll go deep. I'll look at some of these dudes that are similar to Borralho. I watched the Whitaker fight. I know that was extremely close. And Whitaker almost knocked him out, but then Cannonier dropped him as well. So, yeah, Cannonier is no joke, man. He's a dangerous man. Can't we just bet that all the horses will have a fun time? Correct, Mo. We can. I'll drink to that. All right. Probably should have drank this red wine before I almost finished the show. All right, so let's go through it. Cong Wang, unders or her KO. We'll see. Ziggy Fletcher. Ziggy will pass. Nunes Cavalcanti. I mean, I guess Nunes will pass at this point. Llontop Borshchev pass. Maybe some overs, but it's going to be sweaty. Reese round 1 or nothing. Marshall Buzukja. Depends. The line was a lot wider when I said dog or pass. But yeah, it's dog or pass for me on Dennis. Edmen, over-unders, depends what you like. Morales, I mean, see if he can finish Magny or not. Ophel Santos, Ophel or pass. Loda Valentin, I have to look into this one. Loda's calling my name, but I think Valentin can finish him, so I might just go down that path. Richie or pass, and Jared Cannonier or pass. And what are the overs? Over-unders. A lot of money's coming on Kaya Borralho. I think it's getting a bit crazy. I think the unders could be good here, especially when Borralho gasses. We'll look into it. We'll dig deep. Alrighty, let's go some PFL, my least favorite promotion. So I'll take a few of these fights. I take the first fight, Tyler Hill, Esperanza, because I don't know who Esperanza is, and I saw that the under 1.5 is juiced, which is my specialty. And no, thank you. I'm really not interested. Yeah, I can't do it. This Esperanza guy is a grappler, and he's had a lot of dudes go over 1.5, and he'll, even though he's chinny, I'm sure he can survive. So yeah, no interested in this fight. Next fight in tape, Jesse Stern versus Jose Perez. I know Jose Perez, I tried to fade him in his last CFFC fight. He's a really good back taker, a really slick jiu-jitsu guy, but he gets dropped and busted up in a lot of his fights. That's why I try to fade him. And yeah, he's a wild man. No defense. Jesse Stern, I think, has some value. He's a really well put together fighter. He's got offensive takedowns. He's got good grappling, even though he's been submitted a bunch by Pat Sabatini and Shaman Marias. He's been submitted a lot, actually. So that's the risk here. I think you can look value until Perez exposes him and gets the rear naked choke, but I need to go deep. Tyler Damon and Enrique Barzola, haven't taped, but it seems to be a popular fight of discussion. Ray Cooper III versus Mahmed Berkamov. So this fight, I taped this fight looking for an easy parlay piece, right, on Berkamov, and I left thinking Ray Cooper's the side. So Ray Cooper, he's been a bit washed, and since his Leal fight when he came in injured and he got rinsed, he only made welterweight once against Brett Cooper, ran through him in 24 seconds, then had to have a catchweight fight against Brunson, looked fat, and then he had to have another catchweight fight against Jackson, looked fat, uninterested. Extremely durable guy, and he's kind of getting finished by Jackson really easy. I'm getting mauled by Derek Brunson. So he's now making welterweight. He's made welterweight today at the weigh-ins. And that alone tells me he's taking it more serious than his last few fights. This Bekramov guy, he's a bit of a fraud Russian, right? So I've looked into this guy's career a bunch before. He got dropped by Jalil Willis and then he submitted him. Right, that means nothing because Jalil Willis just got submitted by Anthony Ivy, horrible regional guy on Fury FC. He quit against Lorenz Larkin. He got elbowed to the back of the head, quit. Then in a rematch, Larkin killed him. Just one elbow, put him out cold. Brutal elbow. And then he took another layoff, 8 months, not that much actually. And he just fought extremely cautiously against Herman Tirado and just kicked him to a slow, tepid striking fight for 3 rounds. Tirado had like a 4-year layoff. He's like an old man, 34. Last fight he had was 2018, right? So he 5-year layoff, and they gave him Mahomed, and he just no killer instinct. I think Ray is only 31 years of age. That alone, yeah, Ray's an animal. So that has my attention. Bekramov could be a flake, and he could also be chinny. So Ray Cooper or pass. That could be a play that I definitely lock in. 6 round. RC3 fight is off, I heard. What's RC3? Oh, Ray Cooper the third. No, it can't be. They both made weight today. Did you watch the weigh-ins? Pierce said that, and then after that they weighed in and it was fine. So, but yeah, Kiwi Brew, $20 donation. Thank you very much, my friend. You were the first person to donate to me since I'm available for donation, so I appreciate that a lot. $20. It's gonna pay for one of my Melbourne coffees these days. But yeah, appreciate it a lot. Thank you. Ramazan or Shamil KO. I mean, yeah, that's a common thing. But I haven't even watched that first fight. So speaking of that fight, Ramazan, I haven't. I actually played Musayev. I played the under in his Logan Storley fight, but I haven't played anything in. Oh, and I played the under in this fight too, Murad fight, but I haven't actually watched it. So I just see the KO. Gabriel Braga, huge underdog. Timo Kizriev. It's I think this is one of the better guys Kizriev's fought. He's dangerous. He's got striking. Yeah. Bazola, Brett Johns, these guys are not really impressive. So, yeah, Braga or pass. Don't know if I'll get around to it. Magomed Umalatov, Naaman Gracie. So, I'm surprised by this. So, I'm definitely going to have a play here. I'm surprised by the under 1.5 being plus money. So, Umalatov, if you look at his career, he has, right, more often than not, he's killed someone, right? So, Al Salawi killed him with one hook in round 1. Bowen, that guy's a bum, but under 1.5. Leandro Silva, extremely durable. He's still doing this thing in octagon. No one can finish that guy. Delano Taylor, under 2 minutes KO. Nabil Lopez, he actually murdered him in round 1, but the guy survived. It's a 10-8, so that would have been another. Andrei Koroshkov dropped him in round 1. Brendan Ward, I played the under 1.5 there. So this guy's live to kill anyone under 1.5. Gracie's really old, really hittable now, 35 years of age. Logan Storley almost knocked this guy out. Goiti Yamauchi knocked him out. Goiti Yamauchi could have knocked him out in the second fight, but he just, after hitting him clean a few times, he just took the foot off the gas pedal. Yeah, no head movement at all from Naaman Gracie. So, maybe Mulatov, drops him, doesn't finish him, or maybe he tries to wrestle him or something, but I don't see why he would wrestle a Gracie. I'm really surprised that this under is plus money. So, go hit that, ruin the line if you want. But I'll get around to it soon enough. That has to be a play. Maybe the under 2.5 is better. Let me have a look. It's on Bet365. Yeah, even that. But Umalatov literally doesn't have a finish. Okay, he does. He's quite front-loaded, right? So if this gets out of round 1, he couldn't finish Lopez at all once he got out of round 1. Koreshkov, once he dropped him in round 1, couldn't finish him. So might as well just play a smaller stake on the under 1.5. But yeah. That dirty liar piece. There you go. We both got our information from the same troll. Naming Gracie moves like Joe Biden, and it's amazing. Yep. So there you go. At least you got to play for me for PFL. And then Brandon Lorraine, Akai Kamaka. Whatever. It's going to be a competitive striking fight. Kai is really good at losing these close striking fights. He's very talented, but yeah, just he was way too competitive against Pedro Carvalho, to be honest. So yeah, I get it. I'm also not really the biggest fan of Brandon Longrain. He's also a small margins kind of guy, unless he gets a knockout, and he's been high rolling some weird knockouts recently. But yeah, he's got good leg kicks. I think Kyle will be prepared for those. yeah, it's a tough click, but there's got to be some value on Kai. Kai's also extremely durable. All right, let's move on. Anything else worth it? LFA, does anyone care about LFA? Let's see. I did tape LFA. Road to UFC, I'll do that. Is this... All right, so I taped Quan Yan, Danny McCormack. I thought McCormack had some value. Like, this young girl went to split with this chick from Absolute MMA on the first fight, and the Lisa Kariakou, and she's awful, and she has awful takedown defense. But it wasn't really a split, but it's just Lisa just kept getting up. Danny can be taken down, but she'll get up. She's much better than Lisa. She's the Invicta champion. And yeah, my only issue is McCormack's quite hittable, and she can be taken down. And I just realized that she's moving up as well. So this fight is at flyweight, and McCormack is the strawweight champion of Invicta. So I think she's only taking this to get a shot at the UFC. So, Jan is going to have a bit of a physicality advantage. So kind of not really interested in that. So I taped that one. Sahota, I haven't really taped this one. I looked at Penales, but Sahota never at this line. This is a horrible line on Sahota. He's chinny. He barely beat this last Asian guy in round one. He was a grappler as well. So, yeah. Without tape, Penales will pass. Su Yong Yu versus Zwapasi, Deramisi, let's call him that. I know some people on Yu. I got to look into it. Choi bashed. Choi's a beast. Really good fight with him in round one. I got to look into this, and I have to look into this other main event. Janusui versus Nakashima. I think it's a pick'em. So I taped a few other fights. Why are the other fights not popping up for Road to UFC? Oh, here we go. Because it's at different times. That's really, really interesting. I'll just do everything, shall I? I've been jumping between... I've even done one Centurion fight. I looked at my boy Lidio. If anyone knows Lidio from LFA, where he almost killed a guy multiple times in the under 1.5 and then survived. So I taped Lidio against the 38-year-old welterweight guy that fought his whole career at featherweight, and I can't do it. I think he's on the juice. Lidio, if he doesn't knock you out, he's got issues with grappling and he's got chin issues. So I ended up passing on that fight. It's pick'em now as well. I think people in the Discord played it after I talked about it. All right, LFA. What do we got for LFA? I'm kind of interested in some of these amateur fights. Obviously, don't have much time. It's almost 7 p.m. and then the card is tomorrow. But yeah, I'm going to look into these. I really hate taping LFA. Gloria DePaula, Ashley Yoda, I'll look into that. Richard Miranda, I hate this guy. Davis is fighting this Luis Rodriguez guy. I looked into him. Really small guy. He's a wrestler, low level competition. But you got to think there's going to be some value. He's a wrestler too. Nakatini, Jared Harris. I didn't tape this one. I know Harris. I regret not playing him as a huge dog in his last fight. I was telling people in the Discord, and then he just runs through him with a body kick. So that's quite annoying. Javier Reyes, Douglas. This is a title fight. It's quite crazy to me. Douglas is nothing special. And I taped Eduardo Henrique, Igor Sequeira. I mean, Henrique, massive favorite. Sequeira is dangerous. He's a big flyweight. No way I'm laying the juice on Henrique. Maybe the unders. Igor was dropped by Cody Davis, of all people. He might have some chin issues. And he was dropped by Elmar Hernandez in the last fight before he knocked him out with one punch. So, yeah. He was also finished by Mark Climaco. So, maybe the under. I think it's lined at under 3.5. Maybe there's some value, but I got to dig into LFA a bit more. I prioritized PFL. All right. What else we got? Yeah, you boys are talking. Vicarita. Is Vicarita on KSW, my friend? I'll get there as well. I thought I could get value in Yan at minus 175, but just don't see it. Yan. Yeah, no, I wouldn't be playing juice. I think Danny McCormack is the side. Cukes on LFA is a popular dog, and he did get robbed pretty badly. I'll look into that one. Bish, I'll look into that too. Can't lay juice when Danny might just cage wrestle 2-3, correct? Machete in LFA is a setup. I'll look into that. Miranda. Under 2.2 on the Cormac fight just feels like a forced play. 2.5 plus. Yeah, maybe. I think should be a good live bet. Hope Mendoka wins though. Yeah, I absolutely hate Richie Miranda. He's the worst. Also, the dude who knocked down Igor got KO'd by Robert and Chivera, if I'm not wrong. Yes, I saw that. Yeah. Hernandez looked like a beast. He was 5-0, and now he's just getting knocked out back to back. Alrighty, what else we got? This road to UFC, Muradov, Perezma. Perezma's a grappler. This Muradov, I just taped him for the first time. It seems like he can just out wrestle Perezma. Haven't looked into these girls. I have to really look into it. Shun Hiraguchi versus this Zoo guy. I taped Zoo. I remember I was close to fading him in his first fight just because he's got issues with grappling. Obviously, which Hiraguchi can exploit. But Hiraguchi's kind of been exposed as a one-dimensional guy. It just depends if Zoo has made enough improvements. His grappling losses are a bit further away in terms of time. Dong, big favorite. I have to look into it. I have to look into the main event. So, yeah, road to UFC, haven't gone too much in depth. Let's do KSW and we'll finish it up. Alrighty. So I haven't taped too much, but I know KSW quite well. This Konrad Rusinski dude, I remember he made a short notice debut. He was a huge dog. There was no tape available. And he just ran through this Bielski guy in 1 minute. And then he lost via soccer kicks in that crazy, epic KSW show. So obviously we have a bit more tape now, but not much. I'll watch that fight when I went to round 3, see what his game is all about. I don't know anything about this Guzik dude. I really like taping KSW. There's something about taping these lower level European guys, and same as Octagon, it just really, really calms me down. Whereas when I tape LFA, I hate it. It gives me anxiety. Christian Blazian versus Alvin Levensky. This is just a shit show. These guys are just regional jobbers. Blazian is a favorite, but he's got horrible striking defense. And yeah, if anything, it's a dog or pass for me. Kleber Silva, right, versus this Zayak guy. Zayak is on short notice. Silva's gone up to minus 200 now. He can crack. He's a boxer, but that's all he is. This Zayak guy, I don't really want to fade him at minus 200. Like, he's only 25 years of age. He might have chin issues. I've seen him dropped a bunch, and he's been knocked out in one of his losses in round 1. So these other fights he's won. So I feel like Silva can knock him out from what I've seen. Maybe I'll wait for some unders. But if not, this Zayak, yeah, I don't really want to fade him. He beat this Bartolomeu Gladkovic, who's a decent guy. He was in KSW as well. Yeah, he lost to Damien, the 6'6" guy. Yeah, he's not amazing though. No, he's actually awful. Yeah, I mean, I guess Kleber should be the favorite, but I don't really want to force anything. This Igor guy is a beast. He just fought for the title. He's really good. I don't know anything about this Oton Jesse. Is this a short notice fight? Let's have a look. Igor. No, it doesn't seem to be. Or maybe they made it short. Oton. Yeah, regional Brazilian dude, but he's actually fought. He had a fight in KSW back in 2022. Got knocked out in round 1, and now he's got a lot of finishes. Yeah. With how old is he? 30. Yeah, this is probably a parlay piece. I would say Igor is an animal. Really good fighter. Victoria Chizevska. Yeah, this chick's all right. She's got a really good striking pedigree, but she's a juice favorite again. I don't know anything about her opponent. Let's move on. Albert Odzimovsky, David Holshak. This is a horrible fight, or it's a scenes fight, as my boy Dogfather would say. Albert, he just has no cardio. He's chinny. What is he, 35, 36? Yeah, it's just a horrible fight. He's really low level, and David Horshak is even more low level. So, man, he might have a chance to win this fight. He's an underdog, but it's a fight that screams, don't put your money on it. Yeah, Albert is minus 200. No way in hell, man. No way in hell. Marcin Krakowak, Muslim. I need to look into these dudes. Alexei, I know Alexei, Ukrainian guy. Know him quite well, actually. Lost money fading him last time. Bruno Azevedo, I need to tape this dude. Yeah, fighting in Shoot and Road FC. Yeah, don't know anything about him. But the Ukrainian is a favorite. He's improving. And then Zimon Bajor versus Mateusz Scheffel. Wow. Bajor is like an old grappler and 36, and he's a little bit chinny in my opinion. So I think Sheffield's way more chinny, but he's actually has really good takedown defense and get-ups. Right? He's beat Juan Adams by, constantly getting up, working his way up, and eventually knocked out Juan Adams. He's been taken down before a bunch, and he worked his way up. He had a split decision against Acacio dos Santos, who was on Contender Series. Just kept working his way up. He doesn't have bad get-ups, right? He's obviously still a bum, but we'll see. I'll have to look into it. Can Bayol take advantage of his chin? If not, if he tries to grapple him, maybe there's some value on this massive bum, Sheffield. But Sheffield is a hard click, man. Anyone can knock out Sheffield. That's the issue. One of my biggest plays last year, I had like $4,000 on Henan Fahea, $1.40, and then I had the under 1.5. Then I had Henan Fahea round 1 KO, which was like plus money for some reason. And then I saw I saw my boy. Who's that bum that does PFL bets? That's awful. What's his name? Ian Parker. Ian Parker ended up playing Sheffield, and I have like $6,000 on this bet, and I just start freaking out. I'm like, what the hell is this guy seeing in Sheffield? And then he loses in 50 seconds. I was like, some of these guys on TV, man, I don't know what the hell they watch. Kiwi Brew, Victoria, Ricci, Cavalcanti, Valentine, about 560. What do I think? I think for a lock parlay, you have way too many low-level women's MMA fights in there, my friend. Probably not my style. I'm not against parlays. I've hit a few big ones this year, but yeah, I'm I think you could make a better parlay than that over all the regionals and UFC. But good luck. I mean, it doesn't mean it won't hit. But mountain bets. I'm the opposite. I feel taping shit show LFA gives me calmness. I don't know. I think it's just the reads you get. And, I've always had issues with LFA, and I feel like a lot of people come unprepared in LFA, like that regional scene. Probably on KSW as well, but Payos, 1 a.m. Pacific time in your live. I lucked out. Thanks for listening, my friend. I don't remember you, but thank you. Thank you for the breakdowns. Always feel like I need you for sanity check. Yeah, I think I needed to do this as well. Like, I was literally going to do no more breakdowns, but look, I'm not quitting, so might as well not quit the breakdowns either. And I just made my first $20. So thank you very much, Kiwi Brew, for my first donation. If no one ever donates me again, that's fine. I don't need money from YouTube. I just do this because I like talking fights, and I listen back sometimes to remind myself of my reads, to not actually pass like I passed on Walker. So I'll listen to this tomorrow after weigh-ins and remind myself what I actually want to play. So if you want bets, I'm definitely playing the under 1.5 Neiman Gracie. Ray Cooper has to get something from me. Ray Cooper at welterweight in shape against this fraud. It's $4 now, even if it's a little poke. And I'm going to grind through LFA, grind for KSW. And yeah, if you follow me on Twitter, Sherdog, or you're on my Discord, you'll get some more bets. So first week at $500 units. Let's see how this works, building up the bankroll from scratch. Sometimes you need this to sanity check yourself. Yes, we'll see. Maybe this is what I always needed, to go back to lower my units. Let's see how we go. Kiwi Brew, great mate. Completely love this. Love on this, people. Thanks for listening. All right, like and subscribe. I went over an hour, way more than I wanted to. Leave a comment, and good luck on your bets.